Imagine walking down one street and hearing 5 languages, smelling food from 4 continents, and seeing a dozen cultures collide, in the best way possible. That's everyday life in the most immigrant-packed cities in America. But which cities are literally overflowing with global energy? Where do immigrants make up over a third, or even half, of the population? Today, we're counting down the top 10 US cities overcrowded by immigrants. And no, we're not talking traffic. We're talking tacos, temples, turbans, and traditions from every corner of the globe. Which city do you think takes the #1 spot? Stick around, you're in for a wild ride. Number 10. Atlanta, Georgia. Alright, let's talk about Atlanta, a city you probably associate with Coca-Cola, hip-hop, or the 1996 Olympics. But here's the twist. Atlanta is one of the fastest-growing immigrant cities in the entire United States. Shocking, right? As of 2025, over 715,000 foreign-born residents live in the Atlanta metro area, making up nearly 14% of the population. Back in 1990, immigrants only made up 3% of the region. That's a jump of more than 350% in just 3 decades. This isn't your grandma's Atlanta anymore, it's a full-on international hotspot. The majority of Atlanta's immigrants come from Mexico, India, Vietnam, Korea, and Ethiopia. In fact, the city now boasts the second-largest Ethiopian population in the US after Washington, D.C. Ever tried injera with spicy lentils at 2 a.m.? You can in Atlanta, and Gwinnett County, just northeast of downtown, is where the party really starts. It flipped from being 90% white in 1990 to over 65% people of color today, with immigrants making up over 25% of its residents. That's some serious demographic dynamite. Job opportunities have been a massive draw. Metro Atlanta added over 80,000 jobs in 2023 alone, with many in logistics. Thank you, UPS HQ, tech, healthcare, and film production. Yollywood is real. Did you know more movies were filmed in Georgia in 2022 than in California? Immigrants are right there on set, working behind the scenes or starting businesses that support the booming industry. And let's talk education. Georgia State University and Emory are international student magnets, with over 8,000 international students enrolled. Many stay and build a life here, opening restaurants, launching startups, or buying homes in immigrant-friendly areas like Chamblee and Clarkston. So yeah, Atlanta might not get as much press as NYC or LA, but trust me, it's quietly becoming the South's most global city. From the food to the job market to the festivals, hello, Atlanta International Night Market with 100,000 plus attendees. This place is the real multicultural deal. Number 9. Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, picture this. Cobblestone streets, Harvard grads walking past Irish pubs, and the Red Sox blaring from every bar. That's Boston. But behind the Ivy League charm and revolutionary history is a city bursting with immigrant life. Boston's metro area is home to nearly 800,000 foreign-born residents, making up 22% of its population. That's over 1 in 5 Bostonians who were born outside the US, and trust me, it shows in every corner of the city. Let's talk origins. Boston's immigrant population comes from China, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Brazil, and El Salvador, with dozens of other countries in the mix. If you're walking through East Boston or Dorchester, you'll hear Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Portuguese blending into the city's signature accent. And it's not just culture, it's brains too. Boston ranks among the top 5 US cities for international students. With over 58,000 international students in 2024, they come for the prestige. Hello, MIT and Harvard. But many stay to launch biotech startups, work in finance, or become medical researchers. Immigrants also fuel the healthcare and service sectors, Boston's 2 economic pillars. In fact, 35% of home health aides and 28% of hospital support workers are foreign-born. Without immigrants, the entire Massachusetts healthcare system would practically grind to a halt. Add to that the 27% of restaurant workers and 25% of construction laborers who are also immigrants, and you start to see how much they power Boston's backbone. Boston also invests in its immigrant communities. The city has an Office for Immigrant Advancement, supports over 140 multilingual education programs, and holds naturalization ceremonies at Fenway Park. How cool is that? Plus, neighborhoods like Jamaica Plain and Allston are melting pots of food, music, and languages. Boston may be known for its history, but make no mistake, the future here is being built by immigrants. From scientists to servers, they're the ones shaping Beantown's next big chapter. Number 8. Washington, D.C. Welcome to the nation's capital, where power suits, embassies, and monuments share space with food trucks serving pupusas, PHO, and jollof rice. Washington, D.C. isn't just the seat of American politics. It's one of the most international cities in the country. With over 740,000 foreign-born residents in the D.C. metro area, immigrants make up about 23% of the population. That means nearly 1 in every 4 people you meet here was born abroad. And D.C. is incredibly diverse, not just in numbers, but in the types of immigrants who call it home. The largest groups come from El Salvador, Ethiopia, Vietnam, China, and India. In fact, D.C. has the largest Ethiopian population outside of Africa. More than 300,000 Ethiopians live in and around the city. Head over to Little Ethiopia on U Street for coffee ceremonies and the best Dora Wat in America. Why do so many immigrants choose D.C.? Jobs, stability, and opportunity. D.C. is a hub for international organizations like the World Bank and IMF, along with thousands of nonprofits. Immigrants make up over 30% of the city's labor force, especially in construction, hospitality, healthcare, and government contracting. And let's not forget education. More than 15,000 international students study in the region at places like Georgetown, George Washington University, and American University. But it's not all work. D.C. celebrates its immigrant roots hard. The city hosts over 80 cultural festivals a year, from Fiesta Asia to the Turkish Festival. Multilingual signage is everywhere, and city services are available in more than 20 languages. The Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs and Office on African Affairs both actively support integration and entrepreneurship. Walk through Columbia Heights, Silver Spring, or Alexandria, and you'll see why D.C. feels like the world in one place. This isn't just a political capital, it's a human one, where immigrants don't just live, they lead. Number 7. Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas isn't just cowboy boots and brisket. It's become one of the fastest-growing immigrant cities in the entire country. As of 2025, over 1.1 million foreign-born residents call the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area home, making up about 24% of the total population. That's nearly 1 in 4 people. And get this, the immigrant population in Dallas has grown by over 130% since the year 2000. That's not a wave, it's a tidal surge. Most immigrants here come from Mexico, but the diversity goes way deeper. The Dallas area is home to vibrant Indian, Vietnamese, Chinese, Nigerian, and Salvadoran communities. Drive through Irving and you'll see Indian supermarkets, churches with services in Tamil, and tech offices loaded with talent from across South Asia. Garland is famous for its Vietnamese businesses, and Grand Prairie has a booming Korean presence. The job market here is on fire. Dallas added over 90,000 jobs in 2023 alone, and immigrants are a key reason for that growth. They make up 36% of construction workers, 29% of food service employees, and an impressive 40% of DFW's tech sector hires. And fun fact, Dallas is now the number 2 city in America for immigrant entrepreneurs, just behind Miami. Over 45,000 immigrant-owned businesses are thriving across DFW, from food trucks to financial services. And it's not just about money. Dallas invests in its diversity. The city runs over 50 community engagement programs, offers ESL support in schools, and holds immigration workshops through public libraries. Annual events like the Dallas International Festival bring together more than 100 cultures, turning downtown into a giant dance party. So yeah, Dallas might not get the flashy headlines like LA or NYC, but it's become a global city in its own right, quietly and powerfully. With its booming economy, affordable living, and sky-high immigrant energy, this Texas titan isn't just big in size, It's big in heart, culture, and global impact. Number 6. San Francisco, California. If there's one US city that screams global fusion, it's San Francisco. Seriously, you could walk 5 blocks and hear 5 different languages: Cantonese, Tagalog, Spanish, Hindi, and Russian, all in a single afternoon. As of 2025, San Francisco's metro area is home to nearly 1.4 million foreign-born residents, making up over 34% of the population. That's more than 1 in every 3 people born outside the US. And in the city proper, that number soars to 36%. Let's rewind the clock. San Francisco's immigration roots go back to the 1800s, when Chinese immigrants helped build the Transcontinental Railroad. Fast forward to today, and the Bay Area is still booming with global talent. The largest immigrant groups come from China, Mexico, the Philippines, India, and Vietnam. Chinatown, the oldest in North America, is home to over 100,000 residents, while Daly City is lovingly called Little Manila because over 33% of its population is Filipino. But this isn't just about culture, it's about power. Immigrants run Silicon Valley. Literally. More than 55% of startup founders in the Bay Area are foreign-born, and 73% of tech workers at top firms like Google, Apple, and Meta were born outside the US, add in over 70,000 international students at Bay Area universities, and it's clear this region thrives on brains from every corner of the globe. You'll also see immigrants driving public transportation, working in biotech labs, and opening restaurants with Michelin stars. In fact, more than 45% of restaurant workers and 60% of janitorial staff in San Francisco are foreign-born. And despite the sky-high cost of living, a median rent of $3,000 a month, immigrants keep coming, hustling, and building a life here. Every May, San Francisco throws the Carnival Festival, celebrating Latino, Caribbean, and African cultures. With over 400,000 attendees, it's one of the city's biggest parties, proof that immigrants aren't just part of the Bay's DNA, they are the DNA. In San Francisco, immigration isn't a sidebar, it's the whole story. Number 5. Houston, Texas. You may think Houston is all about oil, cowboys, and NASA, but let me blow your mind. As of 2025, Houston is arguably the most diverse city in the United States, and it's thanks to its massive immigrant population. Over 1.7 million foreign-born residents live in the metro area, making up a jaw-dropping 28% of the total population. That's more immigrants than the entire population of Nebraska. No joke. So who's calling Houston home? It's a global family. The biggest groups come from Mexico, India, Vietnam, El Salvador, Nigeria, and China. In fact, Houston has one of the largest Nigerian populations in America, over 75,000 people. Drive through the southwest side, and you'll find Nollywood film stores, jollof rice spots, and Afrobeat concerts all year long. Meanwhile, Bel Air Boulevard serves up everything from phi cho to boba to banh mi, courtesy of the city's thriving Vietnamese American community. Economically, immigrants are essential. They make up 33% of the labor force, dominate in construction, healthcare, food service, and increasingly, tech. In fact, Houston is now home to more than 95,000 immigrant-owned businesses, generating billions in local revenue. The Port of Houston, one of the busiest in the US, is run by an incredibly international workforce, moving goods, fueling trade, and connecting Texas to the world. And here's a stat that might surprise you. 48% of Houston households speak a language other than English at home. Schools in HISD, Houston Independent School District, offer bilingual instruction in Spanish, Vietnamese, Arabic, and Mandarin. And cultural events? Oh, Houston goes hard. From the Turkish festival to Festa Italiana to Caribbean Carnival, there's literally something every weekend. Houston isn't just diverse, it's united in its diversity. City Hall even has a dedicated office of new Americans and immigrant communities. In a city with over 145 different languages spoken, Houston proves every day that being international isn't just cool, it's how you thrive. Number 4. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago. the Windy City. Home of deep dish pizza, the Willis Tower, and one of the most resilient immigrant communities in the US. Chicago's metro area currently boasts more than 1.2 million foreign-born residents, making up around 21% of the population. But don't let the percentage fool you. Immigrants are the engine that keeps this powerhouse city running. Let's talk history. Chicago's immigration story dates back to the late 1800s, with waves of Germans, Irish, Poles, and Italians. Today, the top immigrant groups come from Mexico, India, Poland, China, and the Philippines. In fact, Chicago has the second largest Polish population outside of Warsaw, with over 900,000 people of Polish descent in the area. That's kielbasa for days. Walk through neighborhoods like Pilsen, Little Village, and Devon Avenue, and it feels like a world tour. Devon, especially, is like India and Pakistan rolled into one street. Saris, spices, samosas, and Bollywood tunes fill the air. And did you know over 70% of businesses in Little Village are Latino-owned? That neighborhood alone generates nearly $1 billion in annual revenue. Immigrants' power. Chicago's economy. 29% of all entrepreneurs here are foreign-born, and they employ tens of thousands. In the construction industry, over 40% of workers are immigrants. Same goes for transportation, food service, and even healthcare, where 34% of home health aides are foreign-born. And they're not just workers, they're leaders. In 2023, Chicago elected its most diverse city council ever, with multiple members being first- or second-generation immigrants. Plus, the city invests in programs like Chicago is With You, which offers legal support, ESL education, and immigrant housing grants. Whether it's marching in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, dancing in the Lunar New Year Festival, or supporting refugees from Ukraine, Syria, or the Congo, Chicago shows up. This city was literally rebuilt after the Great Fire of 1871, and it's been rebuilt again and again by immigrants chasing dreams and making them real. Number 3. Miami, Florida. Let's be real, Miami isn't just a US city. It's basically the unofficial capital of Latin America. Walk down Calle Ocho in Little Havana, and you'll hear salsa beats, smell fresh Cuban coffee, and see street domino games that feel like a scene out of a movie. But here's the mind-blowing stat. Over 1.4 million foreign-born residents live in the Miami metro area. And get this, more than 55% of the city's population is foreign-born. That's right. Miami has the highest percentage of immigrants of any major city in the United States. This city is a multicultural masterpiece with huge communities from Cuba, Haiti, Colombia, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Brazil, and the Dominican Republic. Miami-Dade County alone has more than 100,000 Cubans, over 90,000 Haitians, and tens of thousands from Central and South America. Spanish is spoken more widely than English in many neighborhoods. In fact, about 73% of Miami's population speaks a language other than English at home. But it's not just flavor and fiestas. Immigrants keep Miami's economy pulsing. Nearly 60% of small businesses are immigrant-owned, especially in real estate, retail, restaurants, and hospitality. And while tourism is massive, immigrants also dominate construction and transportation. The Brickell skyline? Much of that was built, literally, by immigrant labor. Miami is also a major port city. Port Miami employs thousands and connects the US to Latin America and the Caribbean. Immigrants run import-export businesses, food distribution hubs, and international banking operations. Some even call Brickell the Wall Street of the South. Cultural life? Off the charts. You've got the Calle Ocho Festival drawing over 1 million people annually, the Haitian Campus Festival, and Art Basel, which attracts a global crowd. Add in a tropical climate, gorgeous beaches, and year-round energy, and it's no wonder people keep coming. In Miami, immigration isn't a trend. It's the heartbeat of the city. And honestly, where else can you get Colombian empanadas, Haitian griot, and Cuban pastelitos all on the same block? Number 2. Los Angeles, California. You already know LA for Hollywood, palm trees, and traffic. But behind the glitz and glamour is one of the most immigrant-rich cities on the planet, As of 2025, the Los Angeles metro area is home to over 3.5 million foreign-born residents. That's 35% of the total population, and in certain neighborhoods like Pico Union and Koreatown, it jumps above 70%. Let's talk diversity. LA's immigrant population includes massive communities from Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala, the Philippines, China, Korea, Iran, and Armenia. LA County alone is home to more than 1.4 million Mexicans, over 400,000 Filipinos, and 200,000 Salvadorans. And that's not even counting huge Ethiopian, Thai, and Bangladeshi enclaves. LA is the only US city with neighborhoods like Little Armenia, Little Ethiopia, Koreatown, and historic Filipino Town, all packed with life, food, and festivals. Economically, immigrants are absolutely vital. They make up over 50% of the workforce in manufacturing, 45% in hospitality, 38% in healthcare, and a whopping 70% in garment production. Immigrant entrepreneurs own over 58% of small businesses in the city, from taco trucks and nail salons to international shipping firms and film production companies. Let's not forget education. UCLA and USC have tens of thousands of international students, and LA Unified School District teaches kids in over 90 different languages. That's right, 90. Culturally, LA is a global stage. Immigrant-run music festivals, night markets, parades, and art exhibits keep this city alive 24/7. The Nisei Week Festival celebrates Japanese-American heritage, the Persian New Year Festival shuts down Westwood, and the Central American Independence Parade draws hundreds of thousands of revelers every year. And while LA's traffic is brutal and housing is crazy expensive, median rent now tops $2,900 a month. Immigrants keep coming. Why? Because in LA, dreams are still possible. Whether it's acting, tech, fashion, or opening a bakery in Boyle Heights, this city has room for every story. So yeah, LA may be the city of angels, but it's also the city of immigrants. Without them, it would be half the size, half the flavor, and way less iconic. Number 1. New York City, New York. You knew it was coming. New York City is the undisputed heavyweight champ of immigrant-packed cities. As of 2025, NYC is home to over 3.2 million foreign-born residents, which makes up about 38% of the city's total population. That's nearly 2 out of every 5 New Yorkers born outside the US, and when you zoom in on Queens, that number shoots up to 47%, the most linguistically diverse borough on Earth. NYC's immigrant population comes from over 180 countries and speaks more than 200 different languages. The top countries of origin? Dominican Republic, China, Jamaica, Mexico, India, Ecuador, Guyana, Bangladesh, and Haiti. Walk through neighborhoods like Jackson Heights, Sunset Park, or the Bronx, and you'll hear Bengali, Mandarin, Spanish, Haitian Creole, Urdu, and Russian, all before you finish your morning bagel. New York City runs on immigrant energy. Immigrants make up 60% of taxi and rideshare drivers, 45% of construction workers, 40% of restaurant workers, and 37% of healthcare workers. They own more than 50% of small businesses, from bodegas and salons to tech startups and fashion studios in the garment district. New York also hosts some of the biggest cultural events in the world, many led by immigrant communities. The West Indian Day Parade in Brooklyn draws over 2 million people each year. The Lunar New Year Parade in Chinatown, a citywide event. Add in the Dominican, Puerto Rican, and Greek Independence Day parades, and NYC becomes a festival calendar on steroids. Despite high rents, average $3,400 a month, and the daily grind, immigrants keep arriving. Why? Because New York is still the ultimate dream machine. Whether you're a Ukrainian artist in Williamsburg, a Bangladeshi cab driver in Queens, or a Peruvian chef in the Bronx, there's a place for you here. In the city that never sleeps, immigrants are the reason it never stops moving. Without them, New York wouldn't just be different, it wouldn't be New York at all.